Hey guys, it's been quite some time since I've been around. Haven't exactly been away. I've been checking out everyone's videos. Still a big fan of Stardust's videos. Chapin's Inferno and Barbarossa Girl Writes What as well. Well, I don't consider myself really a part of men's rights or men's movement. I do especially resonate with a lot of Stardust's videos as I believe we share a cynical perspective on life. And yeah, I'm basically just back because I want to contribute a little bit, and for myself, just to see what other guys I can connect with out there, and other guys that are going through the same thing, a little bit of comradeship. During my time away, I've basically been trying to, I would say, replace a void. I think there's a deep sadness, for me anyways, I'm sure most of you, that comes from the truth that knowing that you're never going to have the type of relationship with the opposite sex, at least genuinely, that you thought was possible at one time. And depending on how hard it hits you, you have a sadness at some level. Maybe you've passed that. Maybe you're still going through it. I'm to an extent still going through it. For me, it's the motivation to do things is different now, or in some ways also diminished. When it comes to working out and keeping in shape, I still have a motivation to do that. And part of it may even be to be still attractive to the opposite sex. But I would say a greater part of it is that it's just personal enjoyment. My motivation now is to do things that I really only personally enjoy, or that are fulfilling, which sounds simple, but in the past I'd always done things because I figured there'd be some reward at the end, or people would think I was worthwhile. As a very insecure person, that's just the way I was. I recently got back from Europe, and it wasn't a long trip, it was only 10 days, but I did get to see Barcelona, Spain, Nice, France, a little bit of Switzerland, and Rome and Florence, Italy. One thing I did notice while meeting guys there who were also on a trip bus, probably 40 or 50 people, if I had to guess, roughly 50% male. A lot of them were, there were Australians on the bus. A lot of them were typical Australians, really outgoing guys. New Zealanders, same thing, really outgoing guys. And me and 2 other Canadians. What I did notice, and I don't really connect well with probably 90% of people, but there are a lot of people who I do really find a connection with, and I noticed that we're not really that different. There's different maybe economic structures in different countries. There can be some different traits, some maybe a few different values in that, but for the most part we're all looking for the same thing. And a lot of guys had similar views to me, or not a lot, but more than I expected. When you sit down and have a few drinks and just start talking about life or relationships, as that always does come up. And we were all in the age group of probably, say, about 26 to 32. We're all in that age range, and a lot of us had, the same opinions about the women. And on the one hand, I found it refreshing. On the other hand, it also made me realize that all of these guys who like to come out, or like to believe that they're going to find their princess in a different country, because things are so much different over there, that they're really full of it. And I haven't been everywhere. I'm sure there's some greater differences in other places. But I have a feeling that that's really faulty thinking, and you're never, you're better off accepting that this really is the way things are and find a way of moving on from it. If that means you're still going to date women and you're still going to have relationships, but at the same time knowing that it's a double-edged sword, if you can deal with that, go right ahead. If you're really vulnerable to relationships, even though you know the truth, it's hard to break that emotional bond that you had with something that you can actually, your emotions can really trick you into believing there's more there than there actually is. So I would say you have to be careful. I fall into that category myself. I've also learned over the last few months that we live in a world where the woman is held on a pedestal, both her pussy and, her emotional needs and her even intellectually. I've come to find that usually the best traits, when they exist within men. And it's important to remember that as a man, you inherently really do have more value. I know that's gonna probably offend a lot of people, but I do believe that you actually do have an advantage. Not in the way society's structured right now, but you have an advantage in the sense that you're probably going to have a greater capacity for free thought. I have no desire to be, kind of arguing with guys about women and that on here. My main role here is to simply, guys that are right broken, guys that are down in the dumps, that are going through different stages of, going their own way, to, basically communicate with them. So if you have any questions, you want to comment on anything, feel free to send me a message or just reply to the video. Okay.